It's the Full Force News Burst, proudly brought to you by Battle Action Force, the Treasury editions. I am your host, Christopher McLeod, aka Diagnostic 80. Now let's get into the news.
Full Force!
Full Force indeed. Hello everybody. How is you all doing? It's Snowcat Monday. HasLab reveals and all that we're getting into today. Obviously nothing really else to get into. I will obviously be shouting out Wordburglar for successfully funding a Kickstarter campaign on the same day as a HasLab dropping. Is very impressive, by the way. So we'll be talking a little bit about that at the start. But yes, we are talking Snowcat, HasLab, tiers, where it is currently. It's doing pretty well, as expected, I would probably say. And we'll talk about all of that. That's pretty much it. I hope everyone has had a good Monday. I hope everyone's enjoyed the reveal for the last day of Yojo June. This is the last day of Yojo June, so you get a live stream from me as well on the last day of Yojo June. How does that sound? Cool. We'll probably do like a little what did we all think of Yojo June as well, and see what you guys think about that. But yeah, I guess let's get stuck into it because we've got a lot to break down, haven't we? Is something else happening at the moment as well? Apologies for that if there's another stream going on. That's probably just going to affect my numbers, unfortunately, in a bad way. But this is the only time I could go live, so there you go. Right, let's get into it. We're talking Snowcats. We're talking softball from Maine to San Diego. Not talking softball. We're talking snowballs. What? Snowcat is what we're talking on this one today. Right, so I know where are all the patches. Indeed, Jamie Lynn. I'm a bit sad that we didn't get any patches. But whatever. Codename Iowa. How about that shirt Lenny was wearing? Indeed. I wonder who supplied that one. I feel like Brian, I feel like you're the Destro for like t-shirts. you're like the weapon supplier for all of the people involved. Anyway, lots of great stuff to get into. I think personally this has blown me away. Like I was expecting something chunky, big, like impressive, new features, all that kind of stuff. I was expecting to a degree what we got, but my goodness, hey, I'm also dressed for it. I've got the snow gear on, Arctic white. I just necked water in the last second. Got Arctic white going on that I just noticed there's a stain on it. I think that's might be a little Annie stain. And of course my the cat as well, the tiger on my hat to also push the cat thing, and also maybe the tiger cat in the future. But anyway, I will start off though by shouting out Wordburglar and my interview with Wordburglar regarding his now funded Kickstarter campaign, which dropped today. Isn't that crazy? So yeah, well done to Wordburglar for that. The interview went up at the same time as the Kickstarter went live. So if you haven't checked that out and you want to check it out, then go and watch the interview with Wordburglar. It was fun. Obviously, Wordburglar's great, and I am on this particular project as well. I've got a track, Toronton, on this particular track. So if you're interested, yeah, go check that out, and also go check out the Kickstarter campaign, which you can find on our socials. So massive shout out to Bergs. Now, let's get into the HasLab. G.I. Joe Classified Series HasLab. We've got a new little graphic as well, which is quite sexy. Quite into that in the background. I'm going to have to try and hunt for that graphic somewhere. What says Wordburger? It does say Wordburger. I'm gonna have to shout at Brian, because he's the one that did the title card. I'm gonna have to tell him off for spelling that wrong. That's hilarious. Yeah, that's really funny. I didn't know that. We're gonna have to get that sorted. The L was redacted, and also the A turned into an E. So it's a complete failure on everyone's count there. But Wordburgers are delicious. Anyway, HasLab Classified. Let's do this. The video dropped first. The kind of huge Cobra Commander, they do this every time now, don't they? Cobra Commander basically talks everyone through the entire like process. And yeah, it was kind of like, you know, it's well done because my god, it goes on for a number of minutes and it is like covering all the features, you know, jokingly kind of like some things are thrown in there as fun and jokes, but also like having to sync up some of the cartoon kind of footage as well to really make it make sense. And then you've got the aspect of all the different shots from Snowcats that are in the cartoon, which I think they used every single scene a Snowcat has ever shown up in. But my goodness, this thing absolutely just slaps. This thing is insane. I know a lot of people were kind of worried a little bit um, regarding like that it shouldn't be like a HasLab, this the size and all that kind of stuff. This thing is massive. Like it dwarfs the Hiss tank. We'll have a look at the comparison shot a little bit later on, but it is bonkers how large this thing is. Kitty said, Snow Kitty said. Yeah, Mark, who was involved in the design of this incredible vehicle, and I think he's been involved in a lot of the vehicles stuff as well. He has retired. Now they said retired. I hope it was retired because obviously there were layoffs recently, but I believe it is retired. Stanley says Easter egg references from Cobra Commander 520. Destro slapped some white paint on those Hiss tanks and stingers we're going to have to dominate some weather. Yes, weather domination. And of course, maybe possible white Hiss tanks and white stingers down the road. That would be kind of fun, wouldn't it? Arctic stinger, Arctic Hiss tanks. I'd be down for it. Luke says, I love everything about this HasLab. The only thing I think is missing is a gun turret option to swap with the rocket launcher. Yeah, maybe obviously some things were cut based on some of the other things they put in there, which we'll talk about a little bit later on. I think it's pretty packed. There's a lot going on with this thing. I think they've probably maxed it out. Do you know what I mean? In terms of what they could really do. I was going to say, I thought when I saw that the one of the tiers wasn't an action figure, I thought, oh my god, the fandom's going to melt down here. But what they've put in place of an action figure is so dope. Like, I'm so happy we're getting something that I've wanted them to do for the longest time. So yeah, I'm really excited to see that Bivouac, which we'll talk about in a second. But anyway, we get the video which shows us all the different angles of this beautiful thing, a 360, but then close-ups of all the little details and everything. As you can see here, this is everything kitted out, I believe. So you've got the missile launcher on the back. You've got the two kind of like crates that lock into the sides that hide the. By the way, they said they said snow pedos so much that I was just laughing every time. That means so well. I know it sort of means the same thing in the US, but we use that term not the snow part, but the other part in such a different way. And so to hear them constantly saying snow pedo, it was like that time in the might be Mass Device, one of the original miniseries, where Torpedo turns up and they all call him pedo. Amazing. Anyway, if you were playing a drinking game, it could have been right. How many more times were they going to say the word pedo here? But brilliant. So we've got snow pedos. Originally ski pedos or whatever it was. I don't know what it was called. But anyway, they're calling them snow pedos now because they turn into blimmin' friggin' surfboards. They turn into snowboards, which is incredible. Anyway, I know that kind of was the thing on the original. Well, actually, was it on the Wolf where you could detach it and it had the pegs and it was like a really tall? It was almost like if you had a skate, like an ice skate, and a surfboard had a love child. But anyway, so cool. I am loving this, and the treads, the working treads, oh, so good, So bloody good. The fact that it can do a wheelie, and we're not going to see that just yet, but obviously the base level also comes with Frostbite or Farley C-word. I used to call him C-word, and that means something different as well in the UK. But yes, Farley, Frostbite, C-word, Seaward, Seward. So I don't know how you pronounce it, but I say C-word because it's hilarious. It was how we had the C-word and pedo in the same stream today, which just absolutely made me laugh over and over again. Who agrees the campfire accessory is worth the $324.99? There's another thing we can talk about. How, like, I genuinely thought it would be like, when I saw it, I was like, God, what's the price going to be? Went on to Hasbro Pulse almost straight away and backed it, and saw 324 and thought, you know what, that's not bad. And then when they went through everything, I was like, you know what, this is a packed HasLab. This is worth every penny if we can get everything obviously unlocked, which I think it will. It's already like closing in on 5K. I want to say it's like, was it 500 or something? Something like that anyway. Brian has Brian has sent me a fixed version of as you can see, word burglar now is correctly spelled. And I may not just end up changing it, or it might just be word burger for the rest of his life there. Just kidding. 4450 says go Kings go full. Last I looked. I'm gonna have a quick look myself because it does move at a rapid pace sometimes, doesn't it? Now obviously in the past we've had the obviously the Hiss Tank, the Rattler, and the Dragonfly. Now the Hiss Tank that funded in like some ridiculous time frame. It's 4537 currently. Then of course we had the Dragonfly, which did well as well. I think that kind of was pretty rapid in its speed to fund. And of course, the Rattler was an interesting one because didn't that like it was a decent pace, but wasn't it slow initially and then really went like crazy pants? Anyway, yes, Stanley, thank you. Brian Brink's HasLab chart is live on Geek Dad Life, so go check that out. 4539 says Chuckles. Or Chuck 235, sorry, says Chuck 2235. I read that completely wrong. But yeah, I've got 4543 now. It's moving a decent pace, and that's great. So yeah, doing really well. I am fully. I'm well. I mean, I'm fully expecting this to fund. Will it hit all the tiers? Probably. I mean, it's a G.I. Joe classified HasLab. I mean, no matter what the kind of like the comments you see sometimes, like I mean, the Rattler ended up funding record numbers. So, and people were effectively saying no on that one. Anyway, we get Farley Frostbite Seaward anyway, and here he is in the flesh. On the studio anyway, kind of the model, and looking good, looking really good. He would look better in Tiger Force gear. Tiger on there, but obviously I can wait. If we're not going to get Tiger Force immediately, it's fine. Always a bad design for the passengers on the back. Now it comes with launch effects to punctuate them getting hit in the face by the blast. Yeah, big time. At least when it's a troop carrier, Kenny, like at least they don't have the missile issue to worry about. But you're just outdoors in the freezing cold, so and moving, so the wind's going to be it's going to be awful, isn't it, out there? No patches this time, figure 6-pack, which is a shame. There's so many cool things with this. Let's go through it. So here we see Frostbite sitting in his cockpit with his goggles on, in the nice warm double seat situation he's got going on there. Here is a shot of the front of this was actually, I was taking screenshots of the video as it was coming through, so it was just about to tell us the width, height, and length of it, which is absolutely insane. We'll look at the comparison shortly. And this is a shot of the canopy kind of coming open, like so the front section kind of lifts up, and then the side pieces also sort of gull wing up as well, don't they? Which is interesting. It's a really cool cockpit, very reminiscent of the Hiss Tank for me on that one. And of course, that really cool windscreen wiper, which is dope. One of the things they showed, which I really like, well, there is an image for that, I think, at some point in this slideshow, was the deco that they had, or sorry, the tampos, the stickers, the decals they had, that you could kind of make it look like the screen has got ice on it and the windows have got ice. I really like that. I might have to go for that in terms of the default look for this. I might have to have that sort of icy, kind of dirty, kind of like windscreen thing going on. Amazing. Anyway, we'll get through it. This blew me away. Like, I thought there was going to be a cool, like, you know, kind of like deck kind of thing, like a, I can't think of the word. I thought there was going to be a cool lighting display, basically, and my goodness, this is nuts. The details on that kind of on those readouts, those little screens, that is just pure GI Joe to me, and a bit of mask as well, because you've got that one in the middle, which is kind of like mapping out the, you know, the topography or whatever. It's mapping out like the you know, the kind of like the floor, the mountains and all that kind of stuff, and it's just very grid-like, so it's like very mask. I love that. This is crazy good. Like, I think that's phenomenal. And then you got those little yokes which come out too, so you can actually get the figure in nice and easy. They just pop out, so you can kind of pop them back in when the figure is in the place and everything. So that's pretty dope. Matt O'Brien, thank you so much for the super chat. $10 towards your Snowcat. Thank you very much, Matt. That's very kind of you. I'm at work, but wanted to say TYSM for all you do and positivity. Thank you so much. I think that's what that means. I appreciate that. This looks far better than I expected, and $325 is a fair price for what we get. Bivouac is so cool. We'll be talking about that shortly, but thank you, Matt. That is very kind of you. The aim by the end of this episode is to have $324.99 worth of I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I appreciate that very much, Matt. Thank you very, very much for the super chat. It's very much appreciated. Yes, like the grid pattern on the opening of the mask theme is what I'm getting at, Steps Toys there. That's what it looks like in that middle screen to me, like it's panning over the mountains and the hills, and then it's going to come up to the you know, Boulder Hill, basically. Anyway, I'm expecting a tag team of Frostbite and Blowtorch, the team called Baked Alaska. I love it. I love it. I'm here for it, Figure Six Pack. This is nuts. And then here's the light, kind of the lights, basically. All of the lights. The interior kind of lit up thanks to that kind of display. Looks really cool. Although I think I would have pushed that harder, Kitty said. I definitely would have pushed that to the point of like making the like a tint to the windows, like a blue tint, and then have that light really push out so it kind of like glows. Matt, thank you again so much for the super chat. I believe it's Matt again. Yeah, Matt O'Brien. Thank you, Matt. Very much appreciated. I love the promo video and don't know if you caught when Cobra told Destro to repaint the Hiss tanks white. Bring on the Arctic Hiss. See you later, bud. Yes, I did mention that a second ago, but thank you, Matt. Again, that's very awesome. Is the Bivouac waterproof? Not a clue. Probably not, though. Is it the same size as Phalanx? It might be bigger. I don't know exactly, actually. I don't know to answer the question. I'm sure there's a size chart on Gridiron Studios, and obviously you can line that up with whatever the size is on this. I know there's an image at one point that has all of the details on it for the sizes, but I don't know off the top of my head. It looked next to the Hiss, it dwarfed the Hiss, and I remember seeing the Phalanx and the Hiss together, and the Phalanx was bigger than the Hiss, but it wasn't to the point of embarrassing the Hiss, if you know what I mean. But the Snowcat seems to really just go, oh, that's cute, Cobra. Check this out. Did I imagine I only break for Penguin sticker on the back? No, RKW, it 100% was there. It was on the video as they were like going around the actual thing. Matt says the Phalanx is bigger. Interesting. Do you know in which direction? Because it seems like it felt like the Snowcat was taller. Thank you, Ryan Daly, for another super chat. Guys, appreciate this very much. Almost guarantee we get a set of Arctic Joe troop builders like the Hiss had the 788 fire team. I'd love that. Or even just a lot of winter troops in the next bunch of waves, you know, like a Blizzard, an Iceberg, a Sub-Zero, a Tundra Stalker would be amazing. I'd love it if they did a bunch of those, and then maybe like a retail vehicle, like, I don't know, a polar battle bear would be kind of friggin' cool, wouldn't it? But yeah, I think there's definitely some space there to work with into like 2026 for sure. But thank you very much, Ryan. I very much appreciate the super chat. Thank you to, again, lots of super chats already. This is crazy. Thank you. Does the Snowcat float? I have no idea. Holonet, you're asking all the questions I have no clue about. I love it, but it's too much for me, says Just Under Anderson. I can see that. There's a lot going on here. Downright Diabetic says, I absolutely love it and all the tiers. A selfish gripe. I wanted interchangeable tracks for the front as one of the tiers. Still deadly. Yeah, no, I could see what you're saying there. That would have been kind of cool. But yeah, there's a lot going on in this. I think there's a certain point where you can't really do a lot more things, you know. The Phalanx is a sort of troop carrying vehicle from Gridiron Studios that they've posted, you know, recently on their socials and everything, and is available on their website now. I might still back it, but it's a hard choice, says Justin Anderson. Do it, man. Do it. We still need some Para Vipers or something before more Arctic Joes, you know, because of the Rattler, says Jason Todd. And I agree with that, definitely. I think we do need there's a lot of figures that we could definitely do with. Instead of a fire team with the Hiss, maybe a Cobra Arctic Strike team, says Eric. That would work because the Joes need someone to fight really in this scenario. And we've only got Snow Serpents so far, 2 different versions and a bat. But let's face it, I don't know many people have got multiple Arctic bats because they're just so hard to friggin' get, aren't they? And I suppose you could at a stretch put Storm Shadow in there, but it is kind of like not Cobra Storm Shadow, isn't it? It's Arctic Mission Storm Shadow when he's a Ninja Force guy, I guess. I still feel like we need another go at that Arctic Storm Shadow because, well, but first of all, just do the Ninja Force version fully, and then it's cool. It's covered. It's just that articulation on the leg kills me every single time. There's more cool stuff to look at. 360-degree rotating missile turret. Okay, expected, but they have to show that those things actually happen. And of course, you've got the missiles that go in and the blast effects, which can protrude out the back to make it look like they're firing out of the thing. And you can have there's a lot of different options for where those blast effects can be positioned. But yeah, it kind of works in multiple different ways. Yes, more Arctic bats coming in 2026, according to Big Bad Toy Store. Tim Murphy, you're absolutely right. Super excited to be in the live chat, but I got to go. We'll watch a comment later. Sorry, hits me, UK. I'm sorry about that you have to go. Paul says Phalanx is about the same size as this. Both are about 21 inches. Phalanx is roughly 11 to 12 inches wide, depending on the loadout, and a little over 9 inches tall, not counting antenna and drone weapon system. So they're probably occupying a very similar space. Let's just say it's not going to be much in it in either direction, is it? Basically, a version 2 Snow Serpent team would be great, Eric. I think so too, says Figure Six Pack. Anyway, yeah, cool. This could put out a set of Cobra La Royal soldiers to fight the Joes. Scott Mora, now you're just talking dirty to me, and I'm here for it. I might turn into Naked HD if you keep talking like that. Yeah, Cobra La Royal Guards would be phenomenal around the same time, wouldn't they? Wouldn't they? We need a retro snow job, says Christoph Black. I kind of agree with that. I think it would be great to just do an all, just like a classic all white snow job. White, minimize some of the gear that he comes with. We don't have to have all of that the deluxe did, obviously. And yeah, just get him on a retro card. That would be really cool. I did hear at the end Cobra Commander telling Destro they need to paint the Hiss tanks white. Yes, absolutely, Pure Soul. We've mentioned that a few times now, but yes, there's a little comment in there where he's like, "Oh, we got to paint the Hiss tanks white and the Stingers white and all that stuff." That's how he sounds. He's from Norfolk. Hey, all right? Hey, hot and all right, are you? That's what he sounds like. The perfect impression of Cobra Commander there. That was just someone from Norfolk who has a nasal kind of congestion. But that said, yes, he does mention that. I don't know how much that was just a tongue-in-cheek comment, or are we to expect a repainted Arctic Hiss tank? Because my God, I would be all over that, especially if it had an Arctic driver like the Arctic one we had in the modern 4-inch, and all the different little additions on it, like a different weapon system, the little kind of like different kind of like packs and attachments they had on the side of the his tank as well, I'd be all over that. What kind of name is Farley anyway? Yes, Paul, indeed. So anyway, there you go. 360-degree rotating missile turret. Personnel carrier, apparently. And then I took the worst picture of that particular example where they're in the process of lifting the kind of like the missile launch and the bed that it's on. They both come out and the back drops down, and you end up with that. Look at that, just opened out with four like spaces for 4 figures. A bit tight in there, they said, but you can kind of stagger them so they're all like sexily interlocking knees. Just playing like footsie all the way to where the mission. But yeah, again, like I'm sure there'll be enough space to put them. I'm sure it'll look really cool. And the only thing I would say about that is that they should probably have a little canopy that goes over the top to protect said people in the back, because that's going to be bloody freezing out there. So yeah, I kind of feel like as a troop carrier in the snow, maybe put a canopy over it. Maybe they did have one and they had to, that to cost it out or something. But either way, I definitely think using that as a troop carrier would be a bit bonkers. That said, it's cool that the option's there. And that's really, really cool. I think personally for me, I'm probably going to have the missile rack up there just because it's classic. In my kind of like default look is probably going to have the snow pedos out. It's probably going to have the missile rack on the top, and I'm probably going to have the tampos to make it look like it's got the icy windscreen and everything. That's probably how I'm going to rock and roll with it. Someone said something about Arctic green shirts. Johnny, yes, Arctic green shirts is a great shout. White shirts, wouldn't they? Or something like that would be great. An open back would freeze, says Board with Figures. They're going to have to be pumping some heat back there. I guess like they're right near the engine, aren't they? Because we see that next. The removable engine cover panels, which is really dope too. So we get, I mean, maybe there's a lot of heat kicking out of that. And those vents like just pour that, the heat comes pouring out the back of that and keeps everyone warm in the back. But then again, there's only so much that can do in the Arctic or in Alaska or Antarctica or even Canada, some parts of Rhode Island, Scotland, the blooming Scandinavian countries, Siberia, that kind of thing. You get what I'm saying? Cold places. They're getting carried now. We want to keep them warm. Sheesh. Yeah, Blitz, exactly. Gridiron could make the missile rack into a convertible turret. That would be kind of fun. Maybe just take away the bells and whistles and sell it for retail. Yes, I mean, I'd love that. If they did a Tiger Cat and like ripped it, just kind of really pared it down and did a Tiger, I'd be so all over that. Sorry, the comments are coming in thick and fast. I appreciate it all, guys. Thank you. In another interview, they said nothing is off the table, so there's hope, says Blitz. What was that in relation to? But yeah, right. Yeah, pretty much. Okay, well, let's move through because there's more to look at. So here is the actual, the opening showing the engine and those kind of like the little kind of what they called covers. What, I can't speak anymore, can I? Those little engine covers that go in there, and you can also clip, as you can see here, the wrench and the crowbar to the inside of those covers as well, because that's just brilliant storage in my opinion. That's what I thought. Figure 6-pack, the heat from the engine warms the team up. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Tiger Force Bivouac needed for Outback. You see, Neon Blue Max or Neo Blue Max, 100%. Yes, Tiger Force Bivouac is needed for. See, you're thinking the same things I am. Then we have the ski missiles or snow pedos, as they said over and over and over again. And as you can see, you've got like the connecting point that attaches to the snowboard that then attaches to the avalanche missile and of course, or pedo, a torpedo, snow pedo. And when you take all those apart, you've got a little snowboard for the Joes, which is such a good shout. And it's kind of obvious too. Like, why wouldn't you do that? But I'm down. Reference to water vehicles, Chris, that they debunked in the interview you did. Oh, yes. So water vehicles are definitely on the table for sure. It would be cool if the ski missiles, no, snow pedos, Ted, could be mounted on the skis without the storage boxes. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't actually know what the detail is here because it's not like you're just hiding the ski pedo, the snow pedo at this point. Does it actually attach to the side without the crate? Because I didn't notice that. But yeah, I kind of feel like you should be able to see those or at least access them. Like, how do you fire them otherwise? You just like put them down, set it off, and just get the hell out of the way. Like, how does it actually attach and work out of the vehicle? Does it kind of clip into that little section, like under that clip that I'm looking at there, and then just kind of like sit on the outside of the crate? Is that how it works? I feel like it might, like the snowboard goes under that little clip. Can you see that clip in the middle at the bottom? I feel like it slots under there and maybe just sits on the sides like out. That's the only way I could see it really working. Yes, says Jason Todd. Okay, thank you. Because I didn't notice that before. Then you got these crates, which are really fun, and loads of little kind of, text on them as well, which is pretty dope too. G.I. Joe Real American Hero 250534286. I wonder if that's got something to do with maybe a Real American Hero issue 25 or something. When is the first appearance of the Snowcat? There's a good shout. If we knew that, that might help us with these numbers. It's currently at 4,600 backers, by the way. It's gone up, what, 100 and something in the time that I've been on? That's crazy. So anyway, yeah, there you go. That, Snowcat and that. The ski pedo is stored in a crate to protect them from small arms fire and accidental detonation. Thank you, Squishy. I do remember them saying that and just completely forgot. Or I caught a bit of that, maybe. But the clips attached to the snowboard. Yes, I thought so. Thank you. The crates look cool, don't they? Yeah. Stocky BD says, never realized Frostbite got his real name from Seaward's Folly, referring to the US's purchase of Alaska from Russia. Of course. Do you know what? I didn't even know that's what it was referred to as, Seaward's Folly. I don't think I've ever, I mean, I knew about that as well, the whole US purchase from, I watched a video on it for about an hour, like about 3 months ago, and completely missed the Seaward's Folly part of it. Arctic Night Creepers would be 6 as HoloNet. Yes, they would. Moving on. Here we see. There's the missile locked into place in the crate. And I guess that's how it sits out of the crate, which makes sense. So like the thing's open and they're ready to go. Love it. This might be my favorite part of the whole thing. The pull-out kitchenette. I mean, come on. Who's thinking, let's do a pull-out kitchenette on here? Because I wasn't thinking that. That was the furthest thing from my mind ever. But what they've done is they've made such a fun, like, story and narrative around this, like a mission around it, that you've got this really awesome sort of like opportunities for ideas that come out that we're not really thinking of necessarily, because we're not thinking about the narrative behind it, of the marketing and all that kind of stuff. But that's really fun. I love that. There's a Real American Hero episode about it. That's how I know it. Yes, of course there is. Yes. Chris, imagine the tiger cat with a barbecue grill, just seeing Bazooka cooking and the smell of food attracting all the creatures, giving away the Joe's team position. Exactly, figure six pack. A tiger cat with a kitchenette, and the kitchenette is, like a barbecue, would be hilarious. World building rules. Yes, it does, Squishy. Now that we know all the stretch goals, what would your pick for 3-man team similar to Fireteam 788? Great question, White. Excuse me, sorry. I'll sort my chair out. It's going right up there. Snow Kitty said. So just to answer that question quickly, it's a tough one to answer because there's so many good options, I think, in there. Here we go. Now we know all the stretch goals. 788 Fire Team kind of 3-pack or something along those lines, I think would be really cool to do. Damn. See, I think Tundra Stalker should come with a kayak, right? If he doesn't, I'm not involved. I'm not happy about that. So I kind of feel like he should be his own little thing, but that could be supplemental to this too. I would say, Snowstorm, because he's like one of those ones that's often like not forgotten, but you could do him and like Sub-Zero maybe together, Or you could do a couple of like troop builders that are just generic Arctic soldiers. Maybe steel core them up as well, and then I don't know. Maybe it could, yeah. Because the thing is, you'd want to keep a main character sort of separate a little bit. I don't know. That's a tough one. Maybe we could get another winter jacket person. Maybe like a winter jacket Scarlet or a winter jacket Duke. Maybe those two might be kind of on the cards, considering we've got winter jacket Flint and Jaye. But anyway, it's a difficult question, but I like it. Buyer says, Chris, this was apparently a suggestion directly from the focus group to include this. That's really interesting. Well done to the focus group that suggested that, is all I'm saying. Kitchenette is elite, says Robert McCaffrey. Yes, it is. A moray would be like $400 or $39999, as HoloNet said. Probably would be. Rather have gun storage than a kitchen, says just on that. Oh, okay, but this is, I know, I think this is kind of fun. Stanley Thermos with frostbite, good shout. Anyway, sorry, loads of comments. I can't get to all of them. I apologize. I'm trying to. So what I love about the kitchenette is you've got this little space on the end for the burner that comes with the bivouac. But again, they were saying that the model they have doesn't fit at the moment. That will fit us when we get ours. So that's brilliant. Cup holders for your coffees. And what is that? Like a little ice thing over there? Is that just ice in there? That's amazing. So good. So good. Long Online says, am I late? Did they announce the Mobat? You are late, and no, they didn't announce a Mobat. Polar Bear with Sub-Zero and Iceberg. Yes, I would say Polar Battle Bear and Iceberg. Stalker. Actually, do you know what? Yeah, Polar Battle Bear and Iceberg. Stalker, Tundra Ranger with his kayak. And then like a 2-pack of generic winter troopers that are steel core. I think that would be really cool. I think that would be more than enough supplemental kind of stuff to do for the Snowcat. Considering we've got like Airborne for the Dragonfly, and so far I can't see what we're getting with the Rattler in terms of supplemental characters, unless I'm missing something or just completely forgotten something happened. But in any case, pull out kitchenette. Functional wheels, treads, and suspension is awesome. I sort of didn't expect it to do what it does. And when I say that, I mean that. That's nuts. This thing pounces like a cat, like a snow cat. Look at that thing. Look at that thing. That is insane. And it's got an articulation point that they'll improve when it actually comes out. Whiteout and Big Ben, says Benedict, is a great shout, by the way. Yeah, but I would do like, I'd still do generic. Or okay, well, how about this? If it's a 3-pack, 2 generic steel core type troops and Big Ben to lead them in the winter gear. I think that would work. That'd be so cool. Again, there's lots of good options out there. So anyway, there you go. Brilliant. This is the bit I was talking about, the screen where you could have like ice on lots of different aspects of the canopy, and that little front bit just in front of the windscreen wiper as well, the grill, to show it looking like it's got like kind of buildup of ice and snow and what have you. That is probably what I'm going to default to, because I think it's so good looking like that. Brilliant stuff. And I also, when I'm going to take pictures of this in the snow, like there's no doubt about it, all the snow characters are coming out. We get loads of snow in the backyard. It is going to be an absolute, like, I'm going to get the lighting out there. It's going to be like a full-on outdoorsy. It's going to be amazing. And it's going to be at night, so the lights are on, and it's going to be so good. I think Quinn would be a great one to do outside of this long online for sure. But like Quinn and Arctic Snake Eyes 2-pack, there you go. Shellback RC, absolutely. Great shout on that one. I need an Arctic Scarlet. I was a bit bummed it was Lady Jaye instead of Scarlet. Really? Because I think, like Lady Jaye, a lot of people have talked about wanting a new Lady Jaye because the last one they feel isn't good enough or whatever. The retro and the one previous to that. I like those Lady Jaye figures, not going to lie. But, this kind of hints at possibly a retro redo of Lady Jaye in the future. More so than the last one, I guess. It would be weird to do that, though, wouldn't it, actually, come to think of it? But you've got like a new head sculpt for Lady Jaye. Maybe that would be enough for people to to be able to swap them if they do actually fit the old one. Probably not though, the way things go with that kind of stuff. But I don't know. I really kind of like those options, but we'll get to that. Here is the base loadout sort of, the base level if you're going in for this and it doesn't reach all tiers, should we say. So you've got the Snowcat itself, the missile launcher, kind of like 360 turret thing, the kind of panel that it attaches to, the two crates, the two snowpedos, amazing, 4 missiles to go in the launcher, a couple of blast effects, and for Frostbite he comes with 2 sets of goggles, 2 different head sculpts, and the classic rifle, pistol, a thermos as well, which is just amazing, and the lid for said thermos too. So it's a great loadout. Now, tier 1 unlock, 10,000 orders needed for Lady Jaye. And that is this one here. Now, when I saw this come up, I was like, actually, that is really, really cool. I love the winter jacket on her. Like, it is straight out Sunbow in terms of the design, or the kind of like the deco at least. Straight out of the movie, I should say. It's cool. She looks great. I'm digging this one. Not gonna lie, absolutely love it. You've got the kind of quiver for her javelins, or the backpack for her javelins. She comes with the funniest stuff. Like, the alternate head's cool because you've got like a beanie with a headset, which is great, so they can communicate while they're sitting out the back in the freezing cold. Also, the coffee mugs. I'm so glad we're getting loads of coffee mugs. That's going to be brilliant. It's going to be absolutely littered with Starbucks coffee. What should we call it in the Sunbow universe? What would it be called? Sun Dollars? Sun Dollars coffee? I'm calling it Sun Dollars coffee because of Sunbow. Maybe Sunbow coffee. Yeah, that makes sense, doesn't it? Starbucks Sunbow. I'm calling it Sunbow coffee. That'll be the name of the coffee place in that universe in my head now from now on. Sunbucks, yeah. Cup of Joe indeed, figure 6-pack. Joe Bucks. I like it, Gil. Board with Figures said Sunbucks, by the way. Sorry, Board. I didn't mean to not call you out there. You said it, and I just completely, I was like, as if I made it up. Sad the hands can't grip the cups. Can they not? What do? They just go in the cup holders. Dunkin', yeah. Extensive Enterprise coffee. Amazing. Anyway, lovely stuff. Now, she also comes with an auger to drill a hole in the ice, to then go ice fishing with the fishing rod that she has, with 2 different attachments. You've got casting and casted attachments for that little ice fishing rod, which is amazing. So I'm expecting a lot of cool toy photography on this one. They can grip the cups, but they're just stretching out the hands. Yeah, I get what you're saying on that one. But yeah, maybe there should be like an exact hand attachment for that. That would probably be preferable, wouldn't it? But anyway, lovely stuff. She comes with some awesome gear, and it all kind of adds. Everyone comes with gear that sort of adds to the narrative, which is great. And you've got, here's do you know, when they pull this figure out, I'm like, oh, Dana's coming. Just looks like Dana with the headset and the beanie like that. It kind of looked like her helmet a little bit. And of course, the deco, or the fact that it's a grey model, made me think, oh god, it looks more like Dana than it does Lady Jaye. But I think this figure looks so good. I can't wait to see it fully decoed. Seriously, this thing is rad. I was so excited when I saw Lady Jaye because I low-key wanted Jaye. Like, I know I was kind of, talking about the HasLab tiers and what I'd like to see and all that kind of stuff, but I think Lady Grey, exactly as all. I think like Lady Grey, Lady Jaye was one I definitely wanted, and I put her on like the main image on the thumbnail for that because low key I wanted Lady Jaye, and I'm really kind of glad we got her, honestly. But that's a personal thing. I know some of you didn't want her; you wanted like Scarlet, but who knows? We might even get Scarlet down the road with this one. Kind of like, what do you call it, like supplementary. And here's another shot from kind of like the back, just to show a little bit more of the detail. And here we have tier 2. So the second tier, when this came up and it said Bivouac Battle Station, I did have a little flutter in my heart because I thought, oh no, they're going to do 3 figures again, and everyone's going to have an absolute meltdown, and it's going to be like everyone's going to be angry, and it's going to suck, and I just don't want to be part of that. Everyone like going ape in the comments about it, and I could not have been happier to see what they replaced it with. This Bivouac Battle Station is freaking mental. When I first saw it, I thought, okay, cool, yeah, fun. And then they pulled the bloody thing out for reals, and it's massive. This does not quite give you the depth or the size of scale here. This is friggin' massive, and I am so happy we're getting even more Dio pieces now. What I think this is kind of a cool idea for them to kind of explore, where we've got like the modular fortification, and I guess soon the defense post for the steel core sentry, and now we've got this bivouac as well. You're starting to get more and more of these sort of play set things, like these dio building pieces. This sort of like, really makes. I mean, if you've got shelf space and you want to show this stuff off properly, you're going to have so much cool stuff to do it with. And yeah, damn, this is just phenomenal. And here's another shot next to Jaye, just to show you how bloody massive that thing is. You've got the cot, which they've kind of like, I wouldn't say like reverse engineered from Doc's stretcher, because they engineered it in the first place. So utilizing Doc's stretcher, they use the same kind of idea for the cot, which is really cool. There's a little missile launcher, which is great because it's got a little bit more updated kind of like detail on it. The little kind of like the tent pole things are really cool, and you've got the little campfire, and you've got the little communicator that hangs up there as well. You've got the kind of like the phone box thing as well, like the communication box, which is absolutely phenomenal. You've got the burner, 2 fish, gun rack or accessories rack with accessories, and you've got a campfire with 2 fishies. Amazing. And the campfire is nuts, because I thought, yeah, that's a fun little cute little thing to do. And then they revealed that little extra detail, which I'll get to in a moment. Here's the fish, which, can I tell you, that is some epic deco on that to give it that sort of like metallic, the way that the scales kind of like change, that kind of shinier white underbelly, silver, and then like that darker gray on the top. That is some sweet paintwork right there on the fishies. The fish have got little like holes in them as well, so that you can kind of like attach them to certain things, like the burner, which is going to be smelly, as they said. But like, the actual fishing rod, and like the little prongs that Flint has as well. So amazing. Now the other thing that I'll talk about here, here's a shot of like the accessory rack as well, with the shovel, the axe, and like a some sort of like pole kind of poker thing as well. I guess that's like a maybe for the fire. That's really dope. But then you get this. So you take the fire piece off, and you've got like the the burnt logs, like the cinder basically left at the end. I think that's next. Like, it's obvious when you think about it, but it's also a really genius addition. Like, what an amazing little thing to do. So I'm well and truly on board for this. So good. And here they are heating a sausage on a stick up over the fire. Absolute genius. That, of course, comes with Flint, which we'll talk about now. So tier 3 unlocks at 14,000 orders, which seems like a lot, doesn't it? But probably will get there, I'm sure. And that is Flint, of course. And do you know what? I'm a Flint fan, so getting Flint as well, I just feel like it's like Christmas again. I genuinely feel like I've just been absolutely just given everything I've ever wanted with this Snowcat. For one thing, it's like, I like the fact that it's not just like it's not obvious necessarily. Like, the Hiss tank, yeah. The Dragonfly, to a degree, yeah. The Rattler, very obvious, but You didn't think they were going to do it because it's massive. They did it, and it's massive. With the Snowcat, there was that kind of like umming and erring as to could it be done retail. As I see this, I'm like, no, there's no way they could do that. Like, really, like, do it justice anyway at retail. I think they could probably like strip it down, real basic, and maybe do a Tiger Force version at like, and make it a Pulse exclusive or something like that, right? I think possibly you've got that opportunity, but I just think this how they've done this is so much more like fun and interesting, and I don't know, I'm just down for this, man. And obviously getting Flint is just like an absolute bonus for me. What would I have preferred? Would I have preferred to see like Arctic Quinn? I don't know, maybe that might have been a little bit kind of more interesting, but uh I also like the thought of getting Quinn in both capacities, like his Arctic and jungle looks or cargo short looks, in in both, what do you call it, in but both in sort of like a retail capacity or I say retail, you know what I mean, just an other capacity than a HasLab. um but I think this is a good way of doing it because you're not getting like named characters that we wanted in the main line. You're getting Flint, Jaye, who are characters we have already had in winter gear, which I think is probably the best way. It's kind of a safe route to go, I think, personally. And he looks great. I would take Flint's every week. I'd have Flint's vacation Flint, where he's still got the beret on. Have a day off, mate. Um, have a day off from wearing a beret. I love the fact that that was kind of like in a Sunbow way of going, well, just in case people like don't realize who it is halfway through the episode, if he's got his beret on, they'll know it's Flint. So yeah, you got Flint in Flint's holiday. I would also have Flint's dream sequence Flint as well. So it's effectively retro Flint, but in like a green and white kind of colorway. If you know, you know, it's in the same episode. And I'd take Eco Warriors Flint, although that's a completely different design, but I'm there. So this for me is great. Absolutely, absolutely great. Anyway, yeah, so I'm up for this. I'm up for this a lot. And again, he comes with loads of stuff, man. The alternate head, again, similar to Jaye with the kind of beanie and the headset, sausages on friggin' forks, eggs in a pan. Come on, a friggin' coffee thing and everything. He's got the coffee and a coffee, a Sunbucks coffee, the pistol, the shotgun, and the Sunbow laser rifle. The only thing that I think that would have made this perfect for Flint would be to have including the Sunbow pistol, which still hasn't popped up. We haven't seen the Sunbow pistol pop up yet in Classified, and I kind of feel like that has to be done. We've seen it in Super 7 with the Ultimates, and has it been in Reaction? I'm not. It might have been. I just can't recall it being in any reaction figures. That said, we've definitely seen it in Ultimates. Anyway, amazing stuff. What a loadout for Flint. And he looked like a completely different in this deco. It's like, what's going on? But yeah, it's obviously a grey model. They're the eggs in the pan. Absolute genius. And the whole loadout for this one is crazy. Look at all the accessories. There's so many little bits and pieces. It's ridiculous. Anyway, yeah, Chef Roadblock figure should be in the works rec ship, especially with all of the food in there. Yeah. Anyway, can you just imagine someone trying to complete this figure in the far future? Hey, bro, do you still have the frying pan with the eggs and the sausage? I know, it's totally kill. It's funny when you apply those kind of like funny things that happen when you're like at a con and you're trying to like piece together like a vintage figure or something, and you're like, I'm looking for this particular accessory. It's like in the future, people will be looking for that frying pan with eggs in it? Yeah, exactly. That's hilarious. Convenient carrying handle. Yeah, that's true. Actually, there is a bit of a convenient carry handle in the middle of the Snowcat. I like that too. Subozor. The alternate head looks like Sub-Zero. Does a little bit. It does a little bit. I don't think it's a pre-paint of Sub-Zero in any way, shape, or form, because they do new head sculpts for every new character. But it's funny that that is the case. Yeah, Flint's figure could be reused for a future general flag. Do you know what? That is not a bad shout. That's not a bad shout. Black jacket, sorry, black instead of brown, with sort of like a white or an off-white sort of like fur. I think you're onto something there. I genuinely think you're onto something there. That's amazing. I'm also aware, sorry guys, that everyone's ats have changed in the chat, and you're all coming through differently, and that's weird. And I apologize. I can only call out what I see. So unfortunately, YouTube, if you're on YouTube and you're making comments, it comes through in a really weird way. I don't know how early I was in backing Bad Wolf Media, but I backed as soon as it came up on my Pulse page, like immediately. As soon as it like refresh, bump, it was there, backed it straight away. And I was already logged in, all that kind of stuff, because I just wanted to be like in there. I don't know if it was inside the first 100. I have no clue. I'd love to know though. Father Son says, by the numbers, if the max backing of 14,000 units is reached, Hasbro stands to make just over 4.5 million on that. Yeah, it's a lot, isn't it? How much are they really making here with production costs, marketing? Yeah, when you factor in all of the other things, they are making a profit on that. But there's a weird tipping point with them. I don't really understand it fully. I just know that at a certain point, it doesn't, like when you start doing like more and more things, if you add more and more things to it, or if you increase like certain things, even if you increase the numbers of what you're kind of like aiming for, it can tip the balance into becoming a little bit unprofitable, weirdly enough. So there is like a balance that has to be kind of made at some point. You can't just throw everything at it and just be like, here we go. But you know, they've done pretty well, I think, here. Sure, the Snowcat is great, but does it rhyme with comics? Says us all. No, of course it doesn't. It does eat away at profit. It really does. It really does. And it's a good point that you would mention that as well. So thank you for bringing that up. It's crazy though when you take into consideration just how much they would make off 14,000 whatever backers. Or it's not even backers, isn't it? It's orders, right? Or is it backers? I can't remember. They've explained this so many times, and I forget every single time. I think it's orders, but I could be wrong. They say backers, I think, but I think it's orders. They say backers on here, so maybe it is just backers. Maybe it's just backers, because they're like, you know, each backer, you know, could order multiples. So you never know. We're at 4,672. So we've gone up about 180 something, I think. No, 160 something, I think, since I started, which is decent. That's good. That's moving nicely. I think it may even fund. I don't know. Actually, that might be a bit of a stretch. It'll probably fund tomorrow. What do you think? Fund tomorrow and then start moving again at some point. I don't know. So 2026 Thunder Machine ? Oh, do you know what? I don't know. Hard to say with that one, because I kind of feel like it wouldn't be as ridiculous size wise as the Snow. Well, it wouldn't, would it? Yes, it's two characters, so it's like a side by side situation. So width wise, it would be pretty chonking, and it's fairly long, but it's not as tall. And there's a lot of like, it's low to the ground. I don't know. I'd love to see Thunder Machine done sort of like as an exclusive, as in a Pulse exclusive sort of level. And I say that because I'm talking, when I say retail, it's a really lazy way of saying not HasLab. But effectively, one of those bigger vehicles would have to be like a Pulse or a Phantom as an exclusive or what have you. Anyway, Flint looks amazing. I love him. I'm so into this. What an amazing lineup. Then we have the comparison shots. Holy craptastic. The size of the feckin' thing. It's absolutely gigantic. Like the treads on that thing are like almost the same size as the treads on the Hiss. And then you've got another car in front of it. You've got another whole section. It is it dwarfs the Hiss tank. It really does. And even like people talking about like the height of it, but with that missile rack on the top, pretty tall. Obviously, the base of the vehicle is taller on the Hiss tank, he says, but then like that little handle piece is gonna push it a bit the highest height there. Yeah, we've heard Lenny say that the Thunder Machine does not need to be a HasLab. He said that at SDCC many ages ago. He's also said the same thing about the Snowcat as well. But he might have been like, without doing the research on it, probably at that point, I would say. Anyway. Yeah, they're full ovals, not triangles. I'm talking about just like the chunk of them, if that makes sense. The general size of them look huge, like they look about the same as the Hiss tank. But yeah, you're right. There's a different shape going on there and everything. Anyway, anywho, so you got that comparison. Then they threw a stinger in there just to really show you how ridiculous they've started to do things. My Snowcat's going to have to go up here. No space for it. I'm going to have to move some figures around. I'm actually going to do a full-on redo of my entire display, I think. I want to do that so bad. I started doing it with Cobra over there, and I've got like a whole section laid out on a mat, all protected. like they're those crystals in Captives of Cobra. Great two-parter from Sunbow. Studio Henge is breaking down some costs here. Here's my math. Hiss was 299 with 4 figures. So basically 199 for the tank. This is 325 with 3 figures. So 250 for the vehicle. And that Bivouac, if sold separately, would probably come with a figure for $55, like the Ferret Flight Pod Claw. How much was the modular fortification? It's not as chunky as that. So you're probably right in terms of price point there. So the Snowcat alone is 220 and 20 more than a Hiss for something so much bigger. Actually, a great price. I mean, I don't even have to break it down necessarily without looking at it and going, that's cool with me. Like 3 figures, a Bivouac, this Snowcat, which is freaking amazing. But yeah, definitely have to kind of say on that one, yeah. Stanley says, Lenny said those comments 2 years ago. A lot has changed in the past 2 years. I would also say, yes, that's very true, Stan. But I would also say that probably Lenny hadn't gone into the detail of really breaking down what a Snowcat would mean. Obviously, they had done for the Hiss tank at that point. I don't think the Snowcat was probably like mentioned or thrown in there as an idea or what have you. But I would say that he probably hadn't broken it down in terms of the details at that point. And I think once he had done that, he probably realized, yeah, this is probably a little bit too big for that. Blitz says the team is way more confident than they were towards the beginning of the line. There does feel to be a little bit more of an ease to this one, doesn't there? Yeah, for sure. Brilliant. Bad Wolf Media says, I went out in 8 inches of snow back in January to do a stage photo of the Dragonfly, Trouble Bubble, Ferret, and a bunch of figures. Now I apparently need to plan for another one in 2027. Yes, you do. Daniel says it's a better overall deal than the Hiss tank, which really surprises me. Same. I don't know. I've never really looked at the Rattler. Was the first time that I was like, that's expensive, but also it's massive. But for all the other ones, I was kind of unfazed a little bit. Like it was like, that's what I figured. That's kind of cool with me. The Dragonfly was the one that blew my mind. That was like 274 or something, wasn't it? That was a great price. And that's like the smallest. That's going to be like the smallest like heft of one so far, and it's still a really massive vehicle. Anyway, that's great. Thanks for putting the price in perspective, though. That's really cool. And here is the kind of like the full gamut of stuff that you're getting. You don't get the 3 humans though. Emily, Lenny, and Tony. They can't really. They have to stay where they are. But you can get the Snowcat, Frostbite, Bivouac, Flint, Jaye, and all the Fiexons. I've seen that clip from Eastbound and Down so way too much now. All the Fiexons. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I can't help you. I'm sorry. Captives of Cobra, a top 10 episode, says Robert. It's up there, and it's mainly because it was one of the only VHS episodes I could get hold of. It was a two kind of, it's technically a two-parter with Oda Cobra on the same VHS tape. So we had Oda Cobra and Captives of Cobra on the same VHS tape. So effectively, it was a 3-episode tape, but it was, for us, we didn't realize. I didn't realize that as a kid. I wasn't paying attention. I just thought it was 2 episodes. So yeah, like Oda Cobra was 1 episode. Captives of Cobra was the other one on a VHS Action Force VHS tape. Yeah. Okay. There you go. There you go. What else was I going to say? Is that it? Have I finished? Or no, there's more. There's a little bit more details. 8,000 orders needed by August 14th. I think they'll just about get that sorted out. Probably by tomorrow, I would say. What are we at the moment? We were at 4672. We're now at 4686. It is moving. The one thing I will say about G.I. Joe Classified HasLabs is that like pace never really stops or slows down. Was it Eastbound or Gemstones? I don't actually know Twisted Kister. I just know it's what's his name? God, I've forgotten his name now. From Eastbound and Down. But yeah, it might have been Gemstones. I've just seen that clip so many friggin' times about the Fiexins. Did anyone notice one of the sausages already had a bite taken out of it? Yes, Lone Dragon. I believe I want a discount. I believe Tony mentioned that as well as a joke, but he does actually have a bite out of it. That's a good shout, actually. Why do I think Ramen and other third parties have influenced what vehicle they should do next? They already have a tank option. Let's do something different. Possibly. Father Son says, I repeat, Chris, whatever it takes, get the word out to the Hasbro Joe team to make that missile module into a battle station all its own. I don't want to just remove it and let it be sidelined. Oh yeah, maybe. I'm sure it will be. Well, I say that. Should we go back and have a quick butchers? It's a good point, though. Why wouldn't you make it sort of like a standalone missile launcher? At the moment, you see it there. Maybe, yeah, I think it just locks into that black kind of segment, and just that becomes its stand. So yeah, you can just use it as a standalone missile launcher, and it'll probably be able to plug into other things as well in the Fioucher, in the Fiexins. Yes, Eastbound it was. Thank you. My premium subscription expires July 24th. That's my deadline, says Donut JW. I like that thinking. Stanley says, at Joe Fest, Larry Harmer mentioned Jodie Shooter Craig is a real person and a real name and still serving. That's amazing, isn't it? I like how you sexualized the buffet. Did I? But yes, you're welcome. I'm waiting to see if I can get the calls for the STCC before I get the HasLab. It's one or the other this year for me. That's a shame just under, but yes, oh man, there's so much, isn't there? There's so much happening and coming. It's crazy. Do you get shipping notice before they ship the Rattler? HoloNet, you should do, but some people haven't, and they've had one delivered. I haven't heard anything since they sent notices about address verification. The other thing to be clear on here as well is that they are sending them out as they come in. So they're not all coming in at once. There'll be little segments going out in order of who ordered at what time, kind of thing. So you will get it, and you'll probably get a notification soon. I haven't had mine either, so I'm in the same boat as you, even though it's a plane. I don't know about the why only 2 blast effects loan. I don't actually understand that. I think, I don't know. I feel like there should be more for sure. Anyway, Danny McBride, thank you, Twisted. Appreciate that. Right. 8,000 orders needed by August 14th, 2025. You know what to do, team. Campaign ends, I just said that, August 14th, 2025 at 11:59 p.m. Eastern, EST. And that's it. That's everything. Let's move on to leaked listings for 2025. Nothing has changed. I don't actually know what the internal code word is for the Snowcat Haslab, because it will be on 2026 listings. And it isn't, we haven't got that listing yet. As you can see, Dinosaur Neil is on the 2025, and that's the Haslab Rattler, because that's when you get it in hand. Okay. So we won't have that listing, or don't have it at the moment, for the Snowcat. I'm sure it'll show up at some point and we can pop it in the 2026 listings, but we don't know what it is yet, and it isn't one of the ones that we have. We know that for a fact. Yeah, nothing changes anywhere else. Nothing has changed. Everything is the same. So nothing really to report for 2025. Who's Lee Clistings? Jamie Lynn, that's a banger. I love that one. I don't think we've done that one yet. Or someone might have done, and I've just missed it in the comments. I'd like a dial tone with a winter jacket, but I'd also like a dial tone in general before, I don't know, hell freezes over. Yeah, so 2026, we know that none of the ones on the left-hand side are going to be the listing for the Snowcat, because they're all retail waves of 4 figures. And on the exclusives and miscellaneous, we know what these all are. Unfortunately, we don't know. Yeah, we just don't know what the Snowcat one is yet. So we are aware of what they all are on the right-hand side, but we can't say yet. And I was hoping to get some sort of name-only render or something, but we'll have to see. That'll start kind of growing over time, as it always does. Thank you so much, Travis, to help Christopher with his HasLab surcharge. Thank you very much, A Toy Kind of Mood, Travis. Appreciate you very much, buddy. Thank you. Wow, I think this has been the most that we've had in terms of it's funny. It's because I mentioned I'm getting the Snowcat, we're getting the HasLab, and everyone's like, he's going to need some help with that. So thank you guys. I appreciate you all very much for that. Did I notice there's only 2 of each type of food? Which of the 3 characters doesn't get to eat? Kenny, probably the guy sitting in the comfort of the front warm cockpit, and he's kicked Jaye and Flint out the back. But yeah, I don't know. You're right, though. I mean, you can technically, one of them can have a sausage, one of them can have a sausage, the other one can have fish, and then there's a fish left over. So it's not completely, and then there's some eggs as well. So, you know, there's enough food for all 3 of them. It's just they can't get the same food, you know. Got my dial tone Friday. He's dope, worth the wait. Hits me, UK. I want it so bad. Bored with Figure says, besides the Snowcat, Yojo June was kind of a miss this year. I think it definitely took a hit with the miss, with the kind of that one fan stream that we didn't get. But I'm not going to lie, I'm very satisfied with the amount of product, at least, that we've got and we've seen and that's coming. Do I want more? 100%, yeah. Are we probably going to get an absolutely mentally stacked SDCC? Most likely. The last one was. So I think SDCC, we've got to look forward to that. We can look forward to PulseCon. We can look forward to 1027. There's a lot the rest of this year we can, like, that isn't far away. Like, each one is like a month away from the next. It's ridiculous. So yeah, we've got plenty to look forward to, I would say. And I think we got plenty this month. But yeah, I think having that sort of like dent in the second fan stream did feel a little bit like, ooh, but to be honest, that HasLab has made me very happy indeed. Now going on to the name only reveals, Steel Core Sentry with Defense Post, Taurus and Red Dog 2-pack, and of course the Desert Scorpion with Scorpion, as all we know currently in terms of the official name only reveals. I haven't seen any posts. Sometimes they'll hide a name only reveal in a post. That has happened in the past. Like, I remember, I think it was like Hawk, Doc, and maybe someone else were hidden in a comment that Emily made on one of the posts years ago. But yeah. Oh, we're blown up already to 4,707 backers. It's really moving. So yeah, I'm going to keep an eye on that all night, I think, and just keep, like, you know, every time we hit 1,000 more, I'll be like, hey, done it. The digital renders that we have at the moment, funnily enough, Legacy Police Officer. I should have put the Snowcat in here, really. We haven't really got a digital. I mean, we've got lots of digital renders, and we've got all the renders for the figures for the Snowcat. So I should have updated that. I have just failed you on that. Sorry, guys. But the tiers as well, I'm not sure if we can do that yet because they haven't been unlocked. So the only one I could really throw on here would be the Snowcat and Frostbite, which I will do. I will add that to this digital render thing, and I'll update it, and we'll have it updated for the weekly. There you go. Right then, that is everything. I think I've exhausted that enough. I cannot wait for this thing. Like, oh, and we've even got like a blooming rattler to come. Like, it's crazy how it kind of, I don't know, it just gets a little bit ridiculous, and I'm kind of like, I feel like I'm drowning in this stuff at the moment. But SDCC, man, that's going to be rad. Thank goodness the SDCC ends before the HasLab is done. I think they've done it on purpose, haven't they? Bad Wolf Media. Chris, Cobra Commander did end the stream by telling Destro they had to dominate some weather. Hint for the next line after mass device figures. Do you know what? That's actually more likely than a white Hiss Tank and white Stinger. But I think all of these things, they're done in a way to get the conversation going as well, like to have people going, oh, do you think this? Do you think that? So yeah, I could see Weather Dominator being some sort of thing, especially with some of the characters that are in that particular kind of episode or miniseries. So yeah, I definitely think there's something to be in that. Yeah, even just a little logo like we had with Mass Device, and something to collect across a couple of different, figures. I don't know what you would really collect though for the Weather Dominator, because it's not like you could you could build the Weather Dominator. But anyway, will Hasbro launch another brand HasLab at SDCC? Possibly. They've got plenty of brands. Does the Snowcat figures announced give you specific ideas for 2026? I think Arctic Snake Eyes, Arctic Quinn, anything with an Arctic jacket is a possibility now. I think Blizzard, I think Iceberg, Tundra Stalker, I think those are all very, very likely sooner rather than later. None of those, by the way, are the ones that I mentioned before that we know of that are coming in the exclusives and miscellaneous listings. And funnily enough, all the retail Wave of 4 listings, we don't have a single iota of a clue what characters they are. We just have the listings. We do, like I said, know what all those exclusive and miscellaneous listings are, though. But like I said, we can't say anything until there's some sort of like official reveal, and then we can like do the joining of the dots sort of thing. I just hope that we see some more of the actual Snow characters announced to be coming before this arrives. Marneus 28, yes, I concur with that for sure. Winter Baroness, yes, board with figures, yeah, of course. Okay, Winter Baroness, Winter Mindbender, with that lovely lilac jacket he wears. Dreadnoks with furry bits on their clothes. Destro's got a completely different look in the movie, with like a proper collar that's not like red, but it's still a proper collar. The Night Creepers, the Winter Night Creepers, Bushido, Avalanche. There's so many. Windchill. We went through a bunch of them on the HasLab tier discussion as well on the last kind of news burst. But anywho, I'm Arctic Destro actually in general, like that Pursuit of Cobra Arctic Destro might be a one to do. I think Stalker coming with a canoe as a pet, yeah. Lawrence Cooley. That would be just a figure vehicle. It would be like a Trouble Bubble or a Ferret for me. I think that's what I would just do it as. Stalker, his kayak, and then give him a ton of extra, bits and pieces. Like maybe all those Bivouac bits and bobs. Arctic Snow Job. Isn't Snow Job already Arctic? But yeah, I think a retro Snow Job is necessary. We've already got Snow Job in like a massive deluxe way. There's absolutely loads of options here, and I think all of them are option. I think all of them are possible. There's that whole like 7-pack, isn't there, with like major. Hang on, who was in the Arctic one? Scrap Iron, tons of different Vipers and what have you. Yeah, so yeah, I think there's tons. Professor Picard says, any speculation on next HasLab? Well, it's going to be Cobra, right? I would speculation only because I don't even think they know. But I'd have to say I think I would personally love a moray. Hydrofoil would be phenomenal. Um, and I feel like they definitely need to do some sort of water vehicles at some point. Like that has to happen. Yeah, like sorry, when I said the bits and bobs with Bivouac, I meant some of those little extra bits and pieces that it comes with, like the burner and the fire and all that kind of stuff. Maybe that could come with a Stalker Tundra Ranger type, because as well as his kayak, so they could reuse some of the pieces and also just absolutely just fill that set with stuff. Yeah, I think a moray would be absolutely sensational. It'd be beautiful as well. It'd be huge, but I'm here for it. They could do a really cool sort of like stand for it, which would be like water. So it'd be like a wave, like a watery wave they could like lock it onto. It'd be so dope. And have it like on its side or like an angle, like kind of going up sort of. Oh, it would be next level. I'm already thinking about that now. Thanks, guys. Just kidding. Snow Serpent version 2, exactly. There's so many different winter versions they could do. Quick Kick winter jacket, Dusty winter jacket, dial tone, mainframe, Scarlet, Duke. I think Scarlet and Duke are pretty odds on, aren't they? Scarlet and Duke winter jacket jobs are probably going to happen. Anyway, I'm done. Thank you very much for chatting with me, guys, tonight. It's been fun. I will see you. We've got Lenny and Tony coming up on, so I'll be interviewing them hopefully, or fingers crossed everything goes to plan, next Monday. Obviously, I won't be posting the video because I can't work that fast, but I obviously then have to edit the video, go through approvals, and then boom. So hopefully we'll have a Yojo June aftermath interview with Lenny and Tony on the 7th. And so I will put out a social post to see if anyone has any kind of burning questions they want answered. Keep it civil, please. And also, I would say, don't forget, this is a design team. This is the creative team. This isn't, questions about some other things they're not going to be able to answer. They're not going to be able to answer. You might want to put the question on there anyway. Fair enough. But I can't ask it or get an answer from them. So it's a waste. Anything like, are we getting this figure in the future? Can't do that one either because they're just going to say, we can't talk about future product. Same with vehicles. You can talk, like we're talking like details here. If you've got questions about specific details of the stuff we've had at Yojo June, like the figures, the design, the deco, even if it's questions about why did you think about this aspect? Is there a reason this wasn't included? Is there a reason I would have liked to see this? Is that something you guys have thought about? Those kind of questions are phenomenal. And you get a lot out of them with that too. And it, gets them moving. So yeah, definitely we'll do that. And I'm not going to be taking any questions in the comments right now because I'm not going to be able to remember them. So of course, I'll post the social, post across our socials. And if you've got a decent question, I'll try and answer it. Okay, coolsies. Last time I got a ton in as well, and they're really good with it. I think we did like over an hour. So fingers crossed we can do that again on Monday. Why no Dragonfly Fire Team is a perfectly good question, Viper Scout, and I'm sure that's one that we can possibly throw in there. But I also kind of am hesitant to do stuff that's really kind of beyond, but if it's kind of linked to the HasLab now, in a sense that you could say, well, are we going to get something for the Snowcat, the tertiary? But they'll probably say we can't say anything about that. But you can definitely, that does link back a little bit to previous HasLab. So yeah, I think that's something we can engineer. But like I said, I'll make a social post and we'll go from there. What else have I got coming up? Oh, these came in from Super 7. So very excited. Thank you very much, Super 7, for the latest Reaction Plus movie wave. Falcon, Cobra Commander there. In actual fact, I'll do a full screen on this. But before we go, let's have a quick message from our sponsor. Not a sponsor from our message. such a banger, that, isn't it? So yes, thank you to Super 7 for sending me these beauties. We have the latest movie wave of Reaction Plus to get stuck into, so I will do an unboxing this week. What is it, Monday? Probably, maybe I'll try and squeeze it in tomorrow, but if not, it'll be either Wednesday or Thursday or Friday, because that's how days work. Yeah, really cool though, and I'm really excited to get that Once a Man Cobra Commander. And just have a look at the little dog poo he comes with. His little dog poo spore. Brilliant, isn't it? I'm not going to do the unboxing now because that'd be ridiculous. Anyway, thank you very much, guys, for joining me. I'll be back. Stay fresh, cheese bags. Happy Yojo June. It's the end of Yojo June. We're here. We're at the end. See you on the next one. We'll see if Yojo July, which is actually historically more insane. So stay fresh, cheese bags, and as always, after 3, you know what to do. 1 and a 2 and a 3. Full force. Snowcat. That's it for this installment of the Full Force News Burst. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. See you next time, and as always, full force. Make sure you get involved with the discussion by liking, sharing, and commenting on these videos. And as always, you can keep up with the show after listening by following on all of our social platforms, links in the description. And if you would like to contact the show, you can message us on any of those platforms with feedback or questions. We also have a Patreon page, so if you want to show your support for the show, see your name up in lights on these videos, or enjoy exclusive bonus content, then check out patreon.com/The Full Force Podcast, or click the link on any of the posts this podcast appears in. Full Force.